Welcome to Unspoken Affairs. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the like button, because your support helps us continue sharing stories that connect, inspire, and linger in the heart long after they're heard. Today, I want to tell you about something I've carried with me quietly for years, something I never thought I'd speak out loud. It's not dramatic in the way movies are dramatic, but it's the kind of story that has the power to shift how you see yourself, how you see the people in your life, and how you think about timing, fate, and the strange coincidences that shape our paths. For the longest time, I kept this story tucked away because I wasn't sure what it meant. Even now, I still don't have all the answers. But sometimes sharing a story isn't about having every answer. Sometimes it's about opening a window into a moment that left you changed, and letting others feel something from it too. It began on the most ordinary Saturday afternoon you could imagine. The kind of day that doesn't stand out on the calendar. No birthdays, no events, no deadlines. Just a slow, lazy weekend. The kind of day where the minutes drag in silence, and you almost find yourself wishing for some distraction to break the monotony. The steady hum of the dryer filled the air as I decided, almost out of boredom, to finally tackle the closet I had been ignoring for months. It was the kind of closet where things you don't want to deal with get stuffed away. And I figured it was time to dig through the layers of forgotten clothes, old boxes, and abandoned shoes. I started making piles. A pile for things to keep, a pile for donation, and a pile for things so worn out they couldn't be saved. I pulled out jackets I hadn't worn in years, shoes that pinched, sweaters that reminded me of winters long past. The process was strangely soothing, almost meditative, like I was peeling away parts of myself I no longer needed. But then, tucked deep in the back, I found something that stopped me in my tracks. It was an old skirt. I lifted it from the hanger and stared at it, and for a moment I was transported years into the past. It wasn't just clothing. It was a symbol of another me, a younger version, someone who lived in a world where confidence came easily, where laughter was constant, and where freedom felt infinite. I hadn't thought about that part of myself in ages, and here it was, folded neatly into fabric I had forgotten existed. I chuckled under my breath, shaking my head. "Definitely not my style anymore," I whispered. But even as I said it, nostalgia tugged at me. The skirt represented something I thought I'd left behind. But a part of me wanted to reconnect with that person again. Without giving myself time to second guess it, I slipped it on. I didn't expect it to fit, but to my surprise, it did. Not quite the same as before, snugger in some places, looser in others. I turned to the mirror and laughed softly. It was strange, almost like looking at two versions of myself overlapping, the person I had been and the person I had become. For a brief moment, I felt like I was standing in the middle of time, caught between who I used to be and who I was now. And just then, a sharp knock echoed through the house. I froze. My first thought was, who could that be? I wasn't expecting anyone. My hair was messy, I had no makeup on, and here I was in this relic of my past. Reluctantly, I walked to the door, each step carrying a mix of curiosity and hesitation. When I opened it, was greeted by a face I hadn't seen in years. Daniel. For a split second, my brain didn't register. He looked different, older, grown. Taller than I remembered, broader in the shoulders, with an air of confidence I hadn't seen in him before. Yet behind the maturity, I could still catch glimpses of the boy I used to know. He stood there with a small tool bag in his hand, smiling warmly in that familiar, disarming way. "Hey," he said, his voice carrying the ease of someone who hadn't forgotten me. "I was in the area and remembered you mentioned your sink giving you trouble. Thought I'd stop by and see if you still needed help." It hit me then. Months ago, in a casual conversation, I'd complained about the faucet in the guest bathroom. I hadn't given it another thought since, but here he was, standing in my doorway with tools in hand, ready to help. For a moment, I just blinked at him, caught off guard. "Oh, yes, actually. That would be amazing," I managed, stepping aside. But in the back of my mind, I was acutely aware of what I was wearing. The skirt, the mirror, the memories. He walked inside with easy confidence, heading straight for the bathroom. I followed, pointing out the leaky faucet, then retreated to the closet, pretending to stay busy. I could hear the clink of tools, the sound of running water being tested, and the occasional grunt of effort. The ordinary sounds of someone fixing something. But under those sounds, I felt something else. The air seemed heavier, charged in a way I couldn't quite explain. Not uncomfortable, but not neutral either. Like standing on the edge of a memory and a possibility at the same time. After a while, his voice called out, "Hey, could you come here for a second? I think I need an extra hand." I hesitated before stepping into the small bathroom. He was crouched low, one hand gripping a wrench, the other pointing at the pipe. "Hold this steady while I try to loosen it," he said. I leaned in, our shoulders nearly touching. The bathroom suddenly felt smaller than it was, the closeness impossible to ignore. I focused on the faucet, but my mind betrayed me, pulling up flashes of childhood. Summer evenings spent riding bikes, laughing until the sun dipped below the horizon, sitting side by side on the curb, trading secrets that felt monumental back then. It had been so long ago, but the memory of it returned now. Vivid and uninvited. When he finally loosened the pipe, Daniel stood up with a satisfied grin. "All done," he said, wiping his hands. "Thank you," I replied, my voice a little lighter than I intended. He leaned casually against the counter, arms folded, watching me. And then, almost casually, he said, "You really haven't changed much." Sure, time moves on, but I can still see the same person I knew back then. His words caught me off guard. I tugged awkwardly at the hem of the skirt, laughing. I just found it in the back of the closet. I was about to give it away. He shook his head gently. "It suits you. Not just the skirt, you. It's like, it brings back a glimpse of who you were. But I can see her in you even now." For a moment, I didn't know what to say. His words lingered in the air, settling somewhere deep inside me. I quickly changed the subject, offering him coffee. And we moved to the living room. We sat across from each other with mismatched mugs, talking about the years that had passed. He told me about his job, about moving around, about the challenges and adventures of adulthood. I told him about my own life, though in comparison, my stories felt ordinary. Yet somehow, it didn't matter. We laughed at old memories, filling in the blanks of time. But beneath the laughter, there was something else. A quiet undercurrent. A weight in his words. A softness in his smile that hadn't been there before. After he left that evening, I sat in silence, thinking about it all. The skirt. The memories. The look in his eyes. I tried distracting myself with television, flipping through channels, but nothing could hold me. My mind kept replaying the day, turning it over like a puzzle I couldn't solve. Then my phone buzzed. A message. From Daniel. "Hey, can I ask you something?" I frowned slightly, surprised by the timing. It was late. I typed back, "Of course." "What's on your mind?" The reply came quickly. "Do you ever feel like some things happen for a reason?" I stared at the screen, his words echoing inside me. It wasn't a casual question. It carried weight, like a door left half open, waiting for me to step through. I wanted to answer, but no words came. So instead, I sat there in the quiet, my phone glowing in my hand. Realizing that this ordinary Saturday had turned into something I would never forget.